Hometown Happenings is brought to you by Foothill 7 TV and the Thompson's family of automotive dealerships.
So CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and we help kids short-term, but we also help them long-term. We have volunteer advocates that help them through court because they've been pulled from their home by CPS and they need a safe permanent home. And so we help them immediately, but we also help them have a chance at a better future. If they are stuck in foster care for years until they're 18, there's no one helping them go to college or find a good job in a trade school or whatever it might be. So we're helping the community at large by these people having a better future.
Our role at Casa is essentially to find, recruit, train, and then support the volunteer advocates who ultimately work with these children. We all have the common value that we believe children should have the opportunity to grow up in a safe and permanent home environment. These children also are provided more services by the court when there's a CASA advocate in their life, making sure that they get the services that they need. So the kinds of services we're talking about could be mental health services, could be physical health services, again, the things that are geared to help them recover from the abuse and neglect that they've experienced. This is our 20th year of operation, and CASA, as you may know, is actually a national organization as well as operating locally in about 1,000 locations throughout the United States. And here in El Dorado County, we serve typically between 350 to 400 children per year. We're very blessed to have the kind of support in this community where we can support twice as many children at about half the price of the state average. So we're very proud of the fact that we've been able to develop a legacy of working closely with the court, the other agencies, to both effectively and efficiently work with these children who really need our help.
This young man, I was assigned to him when he was 11 years old. He was in a foster home. He had been removed from a home because it was an unfit home. The mother was on drugs, and he had never known his father. During that time, he had all kinds of issues. He had been rejected by his mother. He was rejected. He thought he was rejected by some of his foster parents. He went through about 10 foster homes. In the meantime, he had various social workers working with him, and he just didn't have anybody that was consistently part of his life except for me as his CASA worker. And he was able to finish his high school, to move on and develop some skills, and I have lost contact with him now, but last I heard he was doing quite well and had actually made it. And unfortunately, many of our kids who are in the foster care system do not make it because when they are 18, the door opens, they're out on their own without any real skills, many of them without even a high school diploma. And so the statistics on these young people is unfortunately not very good.
These children range in age from babies to 18 years old. However, statistically, about half of them are less than 6 years old. So I think it's easy to see why they need the support of another adult whose sole focus is to look out for what's best for that child.
I've been an advocate with CASA for quite a few years, probably about 15 total. One of the great things about the CASA program is that you are committed to be in relationship with this person or several people sometimes. And as part of that, you are a consistent element of my life, even though social workers come and go, foster parents change. And it's a great program. I have enjoyed working with various youth and being part of their lives.
Our advocates come from all walks of life, and about half of them work full-time and half of them are retired. Essentially what they do after completing 30 hours of training is, with our help and our support, is they work closely with the child to make sure that we understand what that child needs and what that child wants. So essentially what they're forming over time is a comprehensive view of what's best for that child, both in the short term, again, as well as what's best for that child in the long term in terms of the placement options that make the most sense. We're a nonprofit that really doesn't present ourselves as one that has needs. We're an organization that meets needs. But having said that, we know we can do a better job. What we need is more support.
I tell everybody that I talk to about Casa that it's an incredible program that I think a lot of people don't know about, and once they hear that there is this need, it's not always visible, but it's genuine. There is a huge need out there. We are serving about 500 kids a year. Unfortunately, there's that many kids that need to be pulled from their homes.
Every year there are still some 75 to 100 children that go unserved. They sit on a waiting list. We've been provided a court order to serve that child, but the reality is we don't have the resources to be able to do so. So what we mean by resources are really two things.
So Casa is always looking for more volunteers. We have amazing volunteers that help us as advocates that go through extensive training and then help kids with their cases, usually a couple cases a year. And we thank them so much. So if any of you are watching, we thank you. You guys are amazing. We also have friends at Casa that help with events. And for people to get up at 4:30 in the morning to help make 3,500 box lunches and deliver them, I thought in 12 years of living in this county that I'd already met all the great people, and I've met so many more that are true volunteers, more than I can imagine. So those are the two different ways, help-wise, time-wise, but also we're always looking for people to donate individually, or if they work with a company, to become a sponsor.
So we appreciate both the volunteering support as well as those who choose to invest in the community through Casa El Dorado.
The next event coming up is an annual. It's a 17th annual box lunch, and a lot of the local community knows about it. And on April 25th, we'll be at 4:30 in the morning with about 100 volunteers making the lunches and then delivering them to the businesses and school offices that pre-ordered them. And so we do need more people to do that. So you can go to our website, which is CasaElDorado.org, and look on there for our phone numbers and names. You can contact Kathy Hurd. It's at 530-622-9882, and we would love to have your help.
This is probably the hardest volunteer opportunity you'll ever love.
The rewards of working with young people and seeing them grow and learn to cope in society is huge, and it's something that you will keep with you the rest of your life.
If you've been trying to think of a way to help our community that, like I said earlier, helps now and later, this is the place for you. It's not just, a one-day thing. You're going to know that you helped these kids, and you helped them with a better future that they wouldn't have had without you.
Do you have any superpowers?
Our strong muscles did have power to spread fire, to make holes, electric power to kill bad guys. But I have a nunchuck, just one. I barfed at Mom's work, and I could fly to my mom.
Kids. Curious, imaginative, innocent kids. When you watch them at play, you wonder how their lives could be filled with anything else. But the experience for some kids in our community is altogether different. Last year, 529 children in our area had to be removed from their homes because their parents, the most important people in their lives, had abused or neglected them. In a world made by and for adults, who's going to stand up for these children? When a child is removed from the home and placed in foster care, their case is referred to our court-appointed Special Advocates Program, also known as CASA. A CASA volunteer visits the child regularly, researches his or her background, and prepares a detailed profile of the child for the courts. Our volunteers are seen as the eyes and ears of the court and provide a judge with an unbiased opinion of what is in the child's best interest. This is critical because the majority of the children are under the age of 6 and unable to speak on their own behalf. Last year, 400 children placed in foster care were represented by a volunteer court-appointed special advocate in court. On average, these children spent 50% less time in long-term foster care. Statewide, Casa volunteers save taxpayers about $10 million a year. And most important, 98% of the children in the Casa program did not re-experience abuse and were placed in safe, permanent homes.
If you knew a grown-up was in trouble and needed help, what would you do?
Give them a hug. Find Band-Aids quickly. I would ask the fire truck to save him. I would go in the hot water and I would save them.
Kids, they'd do anything for you. Will you return the favor? By simply making a gift or volunteering your time to Casa El Dorado, you can change the life of an abused or neglected child forever. You don't have to raise them. You just have to raise your hand. Will you?